You hear me fine?
Yeah.
Hang on, I'm going to leave and join.
Oh, that's absolutely sublime! Pick that one out! Granit Xhaka!
Twisting, turning. That's a penalty, is it? No, he's still going! Oh, how about that? How about that?
Carried on into the penalty area, here he is. And then Giroud! What a goal! Brilliantly worked! Fantastically finished!
Here's Ramsey. And Alexis Sanchez, great footwork. 3-0! Liverpool blown away! A 3-goal, 8-minute Arsenal blast! For Alexis, blocked by Newcastle defender, still not cleared! Wow, what a volley! Where others failed, Ozil has succeeded! Well done, Arteta. Plenty of hit here.
Yes! Arsenal have their breakthrough! Mikel Arteta! They deserve it!
Oh, they're behind again. It's amazing. It's Aaron Ramsey. That's the response of Arsenal. Iwobi, nicely done. Brilliantly done. Bayern Walcott. Sensational Arsenal goal. Is that a handball? No. Nothing the play can do. Great, what a goal! Arsenal have made it 3-0. Jack Wilshere with an absolute thunderbolt.
Hello and welcome to the Clock End Talk and Arsenal podcast. I'm your host, Tej. You can follow me at GoonerTej. You can get our social stuff at clockend_talk. Thank you once again to our lovely patrons who have now been charged another month, but you guys are awesome for supporting this show and doing everything that we do. So thank you very much to you patrons. Okay, boys, let's go. What's changed? Nothing has changed from last week. We are still absolutely fucking useless. I usually don't jump on straight after a game because I'm very fucking pissed off. It has now been 3 days maybe, and I'm still fucking pissed off. So anyway, good podcast. See you later. Fuck off. Okay, Tony, how are you, mate?
Yeah, not bad. Do we have to talk about football? Like, how's your day been? What are you doing tomorrow? I can't be asked.
It's fucked.
That's a good way to start a podcast, isn't it? Really good way.
Fucked.
Yeah, I can't be fucked.
Jack, how are you, buddy?
Yeah, no, I'm good, Tez. Trying to get over the result, but then extremely excited to be back in the Emirates on Thursday. I'm lucky enough to be one of the first 2,000, which is going to be a lot of fun.
That's the way, mate. I like it. And you managed to somehow find a positive amongst the shit, so I'm happy for that. I apologise to everybody for being a little bit late. Those who are saying, yay, Tez is back, yay, about fucking time. Look, my morning was an absolute fucking wow. So I drive up the road, and the bloke said, are we talking about that, or were you on to talk some football?
I think you should explain to all the listeners why you were 5 minutes late.
Okay, so I bolted up the road. Dropped the daughter off at school, come flying back. Here's this cunt sitting on the fucking side of the road drinking a beer. So I pulled over. He had 2 beers there. I said, hey, mate, how you going? He said, Tez, how you been, mate? And I said, yeah, good, buddy. I said, what are you doing? He said, here, sit here with me and have a beer. I said, mate, it's like fucking 9 a.m. in the morning. I said, come on, we got to wait till at least 10. And he goes, no, come on, have it. So anyway, I thought I'd have a quick beer, 9 a.m. in the morning, and now I sound like Darren drunk off my head at 9 a.m. in the morning. Let's get to some football, boys. Tony, I'm not going to go over this game. I'm really not, because I don't think Arsenal fans need to sit here and listen to play-by-play on how fucking pathetic we were and how poor we were. However, I'm going to go down the path of, and it's the number one question every fucking week, is how do we fix this Arsenal team? Has Arteta, has his reign or his time, is it coming to an end?
No, I don't think it's coming to an end. I just think we're really caught in the middle. Like, when we pretty much only focus on defending, we defend very well. When we also try and attack, we can't do either. Like, it seems like we still can't attack, but then we just forget how to defend as well. I mean, it's just weird. There's so much that's just not working. It's not one of them where I'm going to sit here and go, this is how you fix a problem, because to be honest, I ain't got a clue. I think I had more answers 6 weeks ago than I have now, which is not a good thing. Yeah, it's just weird. We were overrun in the middle. We still didn't create too much. Aubameyang looked so uninterested. It's unbelievable. Just everything. I think we put the stat. I saw 32. Addy saw 30 crosses into the box, and 2 were successful. Shots on target, I think beyond the goal, there was 1 or 2 others, and I think I'd have saved them both. I don't think Patricio made a useful save. Waited till the last 10 minutes to bring another, or I think it was last 13 minutes to bring another striker on when we were 2-1 down from the 40 odd minute, and there was obviously 10 minutes stoppage time in the first half, so we were 2-1 down for about an hour before he brought a striker on. Just so much. And yeah, before we even go really too much into the game, obviously hoping Raul Jimenez is all right. I don't know if I'd watched so much football over the weekend. I'd watched every game, and then after the football, I'd watched boxing on Saturday nights. I'd literally been sport. By the time we got to our game, I just didn't care anymore. I was really struggling. And then Raul, the injury happened, and I was just like, yeah, my interest in the game has gone down some. Like I felt like I was at a 3 out of 10 for interest, which is so unlike me. And then that happened, and I was like, I just don't even care anymore. Not about him, I mean about the game. Obviously, hope he's all right, and it's ridiculous that David Luiz played on. I don't blame David Luiz. I don't know. I was talking to someone about it earlier, actually. I don't know who I blame, because the test that's in place, he passed. So you can't blame the medical team. You can't blame the manager or the club if he says he's all right and he's passed all the tests. But there needs to be better tests in place. There has to be, because he clearly wasn't right. Blood seeping through a bandage, and it's not like a little shitty plaster that we've got in our bathroom. Like, it's properly bandaged up by medical professionals. He's clashed heads while fucking steaming in for a cross.
He should have won. I don't know. He should have won.
Yeah, but he should have done. But footballers have this in them that you don't like. We always moan now about players diving, and in the olden days, you didn't show anyone you was hurt. And then when someone does that, we're like, oh, he should have gone off. He should have gone off. But I don't know. I don't put the blame at his feet. I don't put the blame at anyone's feet. But I think that's the problem. I think the league, football as a whole, needs to bring in, even if it's concussion substitutions like they have in rugby and other sports, where you get it's like a free sub. It's not one of your free. It's an extra one, but only for concussion, because head injuries are dangerous things, man.
And shout out to the Wolves player and all the Wolves fans out there too, because last I heard he was all okay, but in hospital and recovering. But he's going to be having a little bit off too, isn't he?
Yeah, he's fractured his skull. I mean, it was a horrible. I don't know. You could hear it, like you literally hearing someone's skull cracking. It weren't good. It was not good.
Not good at all. Not good at all. Jack.
I mean,
give us some positive stuff.
Fair bit of detail there. I think it was a.
What are you doing? Eating a packet of chips now?
No, I'm not. I was just moving a bit of paper, which was getting in the way of my microphone. It was annoying me. But basically, look, it was a shit show. I mean, I think what Tony said about our substitutions, I think, is very much a mitigating factor. However, I saw this stat, which I think kind of sums up the issue. So basically, right? So Arsenal haven't managed to have the average more shots per game than any of the top European 5 leagues, but the bottom place team in each league. So, for example, Sheffield United and Schalke, so all the teams that are bottom in Europe's top 5 leagues have had a higher average shot per game ratio than we have. And I think all that does is highlight how badly we need a creative midfielder. And if I got to be honest with you, I think we've been a bit unlucky in the sense that Partey's been out injured, and we didn't sign that creative midfielder that we needed. And I think that we do need to understand that a rebuild like this, and to sign the amount of players we've needed to, doesn't tend to happen in one transfer window. And I think that we need to get these forward-thinking midfielders into balance with Partey, because, yeah, it's quite clear, even Arteta's now said it, that his aim is to play a 4-3-3, but he's basically highlighted and hinted that we don't have the players to do it, because what he wants is someone like Partey in the deep role and then two more forward-thinking, expansive midfielders who are also relatively physical and can have a midfield battle as well as being creative to then have a front three. And obviously we're lacking those two positions, which are vital for how we want to play. And I think we're in a situation now where until January, we're kind of, unless we find a sort of system to get away from this, which is probably back at the 5 at the back, if we can find a more fluid front three, we're not going to see any improvements until we're able to sign two more expansive midfielders, or even one, and then let's say reintegrating Mesut, for example, if we can only get one of them done in January, or even looking at one of the youngsters, like even a Mill, like something. But it's just so clear what we're lacking, and I just don't see us doing anything to right now to fix it. But then we see reports that we're pushing hard to sign a creative midfielder or two this January.
Yeah, look, you talk about creative midfielders and things, and for me, look, I'm just going to put it out there, Jack. If Arteta wasn't an ex-player for Arsenal, would you be saying, look, something's got to change here? Is it because Arteta is an ex-player at Arsenal and we love him so much as an ex-player, we've been very lenient as fans?
To be totally honest with you, I don't think many of us loved Arteta as a player for Arsenal. I don't really think it's that at all. I just think it's fair to say that you can't expect something to change overnight or even in a year. And if you look at Pep at City and even Klopp to an extent, they both really did struggle in their first year. And Arteta's only been in the job for nearly 11 months now. And I do think he deserves at least 2 summer transfer windows to be able to build a squad minimum before. Look, don't get me wrong. If we're in this position at the end of the season, then I understand it's up for debate. But I think he has to be given time to implement, because at the end of the day, he's trying to implement a long-term plan. But at the end of the day, that long-term plan, you can't do it overnight. You can't do it without the necessary players, and the players we have now don't fit that criteria.
Tez, you're either on mute or you fucked off again.
I'm on mute. Dumb cunt. My problem here is with Arteta, Tony, and I'll go to you, is we've got 4 points since, I think, beginning of October in the Premier League. Yes, okay, we've won some games in the Europa League against teams who, I've never heard of. And hats off to those who have. I'm sorry about the fans at home post, but like them teams. But, at the end of the day, I don't think they're real good quality. But, we're going to, this is what is fucking with my head, okay, is yes, we beat these Europa League teams. But these players who are beating these teams aren't getting rewards. So, Maitland-Niles played okay in Europa League. Oh, let's start Bellerin. I hate to fucking say it. El Neni has been playing really good when he played. Oh no, we'll start fucking somebody else, Granit or Ceballos or he's not getting a go. Who else do I go? There's another couple of players there that just aren't getting rewarded for what they do in the Europa League. We're winning them Europa League games, yes, against competition that teams that we've never fucking heard of, but we're getting done by Wolves, Villa, Leeds. Who else is on the list? Leicester City. It just, what are we seeing in different?
Leicester did
in
just
change?
2-1 to Fulham, which makes it a little quite significantly worse. I mean, if you look at the form of all these teams that are beating us, they've actually been in terrible form apart from beating us, which is also quite worrying.
I think the question's a little bit unfair because he's brought Willock in, who's played our last 2 league games after doing well in the Europa League, and everyone's moaning he's not good enough and shouldn't be there. Whilst I agree he's not good enough and shouldn't be there, it kind of, what you're saying is when you play well, you should be rewarded, and he's done that with Willock, and we moan about it. So he loses if he wins, and I mean, he loses if he changes and loses if he doesn't. He can't win. With Ains, obviously, he played left back in the. I mean, I've got a huge problem with Ainsley being left out anyway. You look at last year, he done really well against Adama. At the start of the season, he was arguably our best player, and towards the back end of last season in the cup run, and then the Community Shield and the Fulham game, he was good. And then just got dropped, and now can't even get in the squad. There's something going on there. There must be. It just doesn't make sense, because they said the other day it was tactical reasons. Well, what tactics is there again to leave out a player that can play in 3 positions at a minimum and was really good against this opposition last time he played against them? It doesn't make sense. I don't know what's going on there, but I mean, Pepe done well in Europa League. He gave him his start against Leeds. Obviously, he blew it. Willock, he's brought him in. I think he has been trying to give people the chance, but it was
Nelson. He come in.
Well, yeah, I mean, Nelson. Nelson's gone from not even being in the squad to getting being on the bench and getting minutes. So again, he's been rewarded. I don't think you can expect to go straight from not in the squad to start in 11 every week. And again, it's another one people would moan if he was in, and then they'll moan when he's not in. So
you know the big one that sticks out for me though, Tony, and I thought you might have touched on it, or Jack may have mentioned it. William.
Yeah, I mean, look,
I don't think any of us have wanted to mention him.
But the whole thing is, Jack, is Pepe. Sorry, Tony. Pep. He played like a busted ass couple of when he got the red card. Then he come back into the Europa League. Hey, had a great fucking game.
But he didn't play shit when he got the red card, because he also had probably one of our best chances of the game. He still, when he had the ball,
I don't care. I don't care what he done. He played shit.
He played shit.
He cost us the game.
Card.
If someone cost you, if someone cost you, well, that's it then. It doesn't. I couldn't care what he done. If someone cost you the game, if a keeper cost you the game with a mistake, a horrible mistake, you don't go, oh, but he actually played okay. Like, he's cost us the game. I couldn't care less what he done. But then, yeah, look, Willian for me shouldn't be starting. But as I said, it's Nelson is the only option. And now people will probably say, oh yeah, he should have started Nelson. But the kid's not, I don't think, ever played 90 minutes in the Premier League, and wasn't in the squad a few weeks ago. So as much as I don't really want to see Willian there, it's not a horrendous. Again, it's not what I would do, but it's not a horrendous choice. And obviously, you mentioned Del Nenny as well, who I think passed the COVID test on the Friday or maybe the Thursday. So he's not played football for sort of 2 to 3 weeks. I don't think you can just bring him back in, and especially against, I think for whatever reason, he thought we was going to be more attacking against Wolves. And to be fair, we did have a lot of space in the middle of the park, and people are going mad at Xhaka for it. I've seen people make compilations of the amount of times he passed the ball backwards and wasn't progressive.
Were fantastic.
And fuck stats. They do nothing for me anyway. But the point I was getting to, if you think you're going to have a load of time in the game and loads of time on the ball in the midfield, El Nenny's not the player for that game, because he's going to play your safe balls sort of diagonally a few yards forward, a few yards backwards from one centre back. You pick up the ball and give it to the other one, which is not what you need when you're trying to be progressive. So it's
last. I know, and look, I want to touch on obviously Granit a little bit, because I did see him copping a slogan, and people do know that I am also a Granit fan. However, look, I don't think it was.
I don't think you want to touch on Granit. I mean, from what everything.
Well, I'm going to Jack.
You mean?
Whether
Don't
they
you mean
fucking like it or not, mate? I don't give a fuck.
Don't you mean you want to touch Granit?
At the end of the day, I don't think Granit had a really good game. I'm sorry.
No,
I think he was very fucking poor, and I'll put my hand up to say Granit was very fucking poor. However, I will touch on a couple of other things, because you mentioned about Aubameyang, Tony. Now, this is my other worry that I have. What did you say, 30 or 32?
Adi said he saw 30. I saw a stat that said 32, but mine was off Twitter, I think, so his is probably right. But it's in the 30s was the amount of crosses that was.
Yeah, okay. It's fucking hard, isn't it? But and look, Willock, Saka, Willian, Aubameyang. I just don't see that working, boys. I just don't see that working. And I'm nothing against Granite and Ceballos, but I don't think that they could give the service to them blokes at the front because they just weren't in positions. That's why I was looking at it.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's part of the issue. Look, Danny and Ceballos were both. I mean, not Danny and Ceballos. Xhaka and Ceballos were both not good, but a lot of the time you look ahead of them and it was so static. I thought Saka had his worst game in ages. Willian keeps coming to the ball, and I'm going to stop blaming him for it because it must be instruction because he's doing it so much. And Pepe was clearly being made to play safe, so it's got to be instruction. So then they again, I'm not defending them because they were both poor.
Yeah, no, I'm not defending them either.
They get the ball. Yeah, but they get the ball, look up, and then Aubameyang's not really moving. Saka comes short and wants to dribble at people. Willian wants to come short and give the ball to the right back for some reason. And Joe Willock's not, he doesn't play on the half turn. He doesn't play in 10 spaces. It's weird. I was going to touch on it earlier when Jack said we've been rumoured to be linked with a few number 10s, Ericsson, the guy from Red Bull Salzburg. Wasn't everyone telling us that 10s were dead like 2 weeks ago?
Season. Yeah, that was last season.
The 10 role doesn't exist anymore.
Doesn't exist. No, that's right.
And now all of a sudden it's let's go and sign 4 of them.
I don't know. I don't know how Arteta fixes this. And there was a comment coming up. Charlie mentioned. He was discussing what you were talking about, Tony, and he's dead right. I mean, no one truly knows. We're fans. We're not specialists of football. However, I will touch on what's Darren call us pundits of football. But look, we all watch the game. We all analyse the game. We tell our thoughts. At the end of the day, this is our thoughts. We're not getting paid here, and we aren't specialists of football, but we're here to tell our thoughts. And I think I go back to what I said 3 weeks ago. I think that Arteta, for me, and nothing against the bloke. I'm not Arteta out, but fuck me, you've got to pull a bloke up when we're losing game after game. 4 points since October. Like, what are you going to sit here and just bend over and continually take it up the arse? Because that's what we're becoming, boys. And I know Darren's going to try and look for a positive. Jack's going to look for a positive. That's all great. But at the end of the day, we're 14th on the fucking table. We have a manager who I see is going, well, fuck. We have players who have no interest in playing football whatsoever. They're running around like fucking headless jooks. I don't know how to fix it. Nobody knows how to fix it. But for me, at this point in time, I don't think Arteta's the bloke to do the job. And I said it a few weeks ago.
But then who is there to bring in that would get us immediately to where we want to be?
That's a fucking good question. That's a good question. But who's going to come in like, okay, I probably shouldn't bring up Allegri, should I, Jack? Allegri, for me, I didn't really want him to start with because I seen how he went at Juventus. I don't think Arsenal would suit him. Emery, look, he left, and there you see stats coming out of Emery and Arteta. I think, and I'm not. Oh, fuck.
The only one's Pochettino.
No, he's not going to happen. You know what I'm looking at, don't you? Okay, I'm looking at a bloke, and I don't want to say his fucking name because I'm going to get absolutely smashed.
Is it Arsene Wenger?
No, I'm looking at a bloke who fucking is a specialist in not getting clubs relegated. Because that's where we're heading.
Are you going to say
so?
Sam
You
Allardyce,
think Taz? You think who your fucking specialist is there?
Taz, are you going to say Sam Allardyce?
I think it's someone like that. Yeah.
Oh my fucking god, no.
That's where we're coming to.
Who would you rather them? Him or fucking Tim Sherwood?
This is what I'm saying, Jack. This is what's worrying me massively. Is we're going down and down and down and down and down. We have an inexperienced
But then why
manager
not
who's
give a man more
scratching his
time?
head.
But then why not give a time to a man who's built so much success already at the club in terms of how he's transformed us in so many ways? Like, I
His
feel like
biggest
there's
problem
always
is he
so much
got the
easier.
defense. He got the
It's so-
defense issues sorted, right?
But that's the
Defensively,
hardest thing
he's
to do.
been
That's
sound.
harder than fixing attack. So on
Yeah.
that notion, we need a window to fix the attack.
I think that's all blown out the window there, Jack. He fixed the problem to start with. He came in and fixed that. His last four games, that's all blown out the window now. Like what he actually fixed, I think he's unraveled with his whatever he's trying to do there. And I feel like he's a puppet. Somebody up top's talking and somebody's going, look, we got rid of Guendouzi, who, okay, so be it. We got rid of Guendouzi, right? We got rid of Torreira. So be it. Once again, obviously, they were not in our plans. Who'd we replace them two players with?
Party, which is an upgrade, but he's been injured.
And the Nil Nanny. You could say?
The thing is, right, is Torreira, fair enough, he was never going to get in Arteta's plans, but he did play Guendouzi until the incident happened, and even, do you know what I mean? And even Mesut. So those are two players that were in his plans prior to whatever happened in both scenarios. And I do think that is obviously a certain factor because obviously they would be used in these situations. However, I think the Party's injuries really, really cost us. And I'm not trying. Obviously, he's a new player, and I'm not trying to blame everything on that. But I do think it's made a massive impact because even in the Leicester game before he went off injured, we were still dominating the midfield in the first half. As soon as he went off, everything changed.
I don't know, mate. I just think he's just a bit chewed off a bit more than his bit, and you know I want him to succeed like everybody else, and I fucking hate to say it, but you know I'm thinking maybe Moyes or somebody just with a bit of experience, and I'm not saying that they take over the job, Jack, but just to put him in the side to maybe steer Arteta the right way, maybe that's an alternative. You know, get like somebody who's been there and done it. Well, he's not going to do the job. So, you could say Arsene Wenger till the cows come home. At the end of the day, the bloke's not coming.
Do you know what I was thinking about this, right? It wouldn't be stupid because basically with the whole board regeneration that we've just done with Edu, with Arteta moving to a manager and Edu moving to more of a mixture between a technical director and a Sinelli mold, it would make sense if Edu then dropped back into his old position and then someone like Arsene took that more of a sporting style sort of place that in the role that Edu was doing before Sinelli left. Because then in theory it would help us to sign it not only would help us sign the good players for the specific roles, but on top of that, what Arsene will bring is that a lot of young up and coming big players would see Arsene as a major pull factor to the club. Because like even like for example in Mbappe, the relationship that his parents have with Arsene alone is just a prime example of the benefits that someone like Wenger could bring to the club in that capacity. And I don't think it'd be stupid. I got to be honest with you, if Arsene was offered a job which was in the board of the club, I actually do think he would accept it. Because all the people that he had the problems with are now gone.
I look and there's so much you could dive into here, and people are talking about Gazidis and Wenger wrecked the club, and what they've left us with, and the old regime, and then Raul come in and he's fucked the show, and but look over it, look down there, look where Gazidis is at the moment. They're top of the ladder down there.
Yeah, but they've been doing shit as well before. But just really quickly, just to what that guy just said in the comments. This is what I find Arsenal fans don't understand. There's nothing deluded about not being reactionary and understanding the issues that take place within a football club logically without getting on the back of a Twitter bandwagon. That doesn't mean you're deluded to look at football with a deeper business-minded sphere and understanding the running of a football club and the nature of the industry behind it. So it's to say that what I've been saying is deluded, if in my opinion, and I'm not trying to be rude because obviously you're a good listener and everything, but it's quite an uneducated thing to call someone deluded when actually they're giving a very weighed up argument about the processes of a running of a football club. So I wouldn't really say that's fair.
I don't know, Tony. Like, and I know you're a little bit. You're not going to react like a little bit like I am, I guess. But I continue to see that slide down the table if things keep going. You know, next week we've got Tottenham, and I'm like, well, there goes 3 points. I just can't see us beating them. I'm sorry. Where's that put us? And then all of a sudden, a couple of games away, here we are, Christmas time, January. We're looking at relegation, and at what point do we go, okay, something needs to change? Like I said, do you agree? Do you bring in a bloke? And I don't want to say Big Sam, but I'm just looking at a bloke who fucking has been there and done it, and they're relegation experts. And that's, you know, I don't know. I'm clutching at straws, mate. I'm lost. Help me out.
No, I mean, I wouldn't even consider it. I mean, we're not going to go down anyway, and we're not in a threat of going down. But even if we was, the way you get out of that is by not conceding goals. And if we wanted to just not concede goals, we can do that pretty much till the cows come home. We could end up with if we just focus on the defensive side, if we just kept playing defensively, we'd probably get our best defensive season in years. The issue is, as soon as we fucking try and attack, we just can't do either.
Can I
don't know, it's weird. Go on.
No, I was going to say, we were saying about we can't attack everything. So I'm looking right now at a quote from our Twitter from his most recent press conference, and he said this, right? We want to move to a 4-3-3, but for that you need a lot of specificity in every position. But now in 5 or 6 positions, we don't have it. What would you think those 5 or 6 positions are, and why, to how they stop us? Because it's obviously for attacking reasons why we got issues. So what would you say those positions are? So if we can look at it from more of an analytical kind of mindset.
I mean, I don't believe a thing any manager says, to be honest. Not just him. Like, I listen to press conferences religiously for betting stuff, and what they say is nonsense. The thing is, like you say, he's clearly getting wingers that he wants to play safe. So that's not going to help us score goals. But if you're adding that into your 5 or 6, then you go right centre back, right winger, at least one centre midfielder, apparently a 10, even though that position didn't exist 3 months ago, and now it's all the rage.
I never said that. I
didn't say you said it.
I know. I'm just saying.
So I mean, a keeper that could actually kick a fucking ball would probably help. Like, there's.
Since you brought up a keeper, them 2 goals, Tony. Just quickly, since you brought his name up, for me, and I'll just give you my quick opinion. First goal, not his fault. Second goal, I'm like, I would have liked Addy actually to his thoughts. That was my thoughts when watching. I watched the game twice. So
yeah, I think.
Sorry.
I think Addy,
you watched the game twice.
Yeah, mate.
Yeah, he has to, because he can't remember it.
Oh, of course.
I have to, Jack, because I can't remember it.
Would you have just rather forget about it? I mean, I would have.
He forgot he watched it, so he had to watch it again.
I found
because it's fucking hard, isn't it?
He thought he was going to win the second time. I think Addy said on the WhatsApp group the other day that the first goal was definitely not his fault. He didn't think that the second goal was his fault. I do, but again, I've gone on a million times on here about major and minor errors, and most goals there's probably 10 errors, and one of them gets pointed at, depending on who you like and dislike. Because I saw someone in the group blaming 100% that's Xhaka's fault, and I was like, well, no, he probably should have fouled Adama Traore, but one, that's not that easy, and 2, it's on the halfway line. Like, that is a minor error for the goal. Hector and Luiz both backed off too much, and then Luiz didn't engage at all. So there's 2 other minor errors. I know the shot deflected, but I've said it a million times. Leno has this habit of just patting the ball down in front of him, and that's basically what happened. So am I going to go, fucking hell, Leno, you're useless, it's your fault? No. Should he have done better? Yes, but as I said, so should probably Tierney when he let Adama turn. Again, not easy, but if you're going to point out other minor errors, you've got to point out his. The same with Xhaka. Adama got his body in front. Could Xhaka? There's no way Xhaka could have possibly got the ball. but he should be aware enough to know what's behind him and bring him down if you have to. People would have still moaned, he's got booked again, but it would have been the right thing to do. Again, Luiz and Bellerin backing off too much. Bellerin not knowing where his line is because he backed off with, I think it was Podence, and then he stopped. So after the shot went in, he stopped and the ball fell to Podence. To be honest, I thought Podence was going to go down. Also, I feel like our players were really slow to react. Like Leno spilt it, and it just felt like 2 or 3 players looked like they were probably in a position to get it, and then no one did. I don't know if they're leaving it to each other. So it's one of them goals. You could probably blame and put a minor blame on 5 or 6 players, and Leno's one of them. But I'm not gonna hammer Leno for it.
I'm not hammering him. I just seen it pop up on Twitter, and it wasn't until then I looked back again. I thought, oh yeah, fuck yeah, right. I kind of have to blame you for that one, buddy. But yeah, a couple of questions have come through. What happens if, and I presume this is what Jack was talking about before with creativity. What happens if creativity arrives and nothing changes?
I said this. I said last week. I think people are looking at it like that's the key. You get a 10 and the door unlocked. I don't think it really helps too much. The only reason I think it helps is at the moment we offer absolutely nothing through the middle, and we're quite easy to defend against because we're going to get wide and we're going to put crosses on, and our strikers are not very good at attacking crosses. But so they just kind of accept that we're going to go wide and flood the middle to stop the threat from the cross. If you've at least got a threat from the middle, it just gives them something else to think about. I don't think we're going to get a 10 and suddenly we're going to be able to be this free-flowing attacking team. But I just think it will help in terms of the defenders having something more to worry about. But it's definitely not the answer that people seem to think it is. It's not like, get Ericsson or Hungarian. Yeah, that'll do. Dominic. It's not a case of getting them and then that's it. Like we're going to be top 4 and flying, scoring 5 goals a game.
If I have to be honest with you guys, I don't actually think it's a 10 per. I mean, I do think we need a 10, but I don't think per se that's the role we need. I think it's more we just need 2. Look, if you look at the way City play, they play their middle 3 is essentially like a V shape. They have someone who sits in the deep, and they have 2 players who are both physical, can hold their ground in the middle, but they're also much more positive-minded midfielders. And I think Partey perfectly fills that role for the defensive part of that V shape. But I think it's even more, we just need more positivity. Like, even if it wasn't a 10, but it was 2 more Aaron Ramsey-esque players, hypothetically. Like, even in theory, you could go for, let's say, Szoboszlai and Aouar as the 2 ahead with Partey would work because Aouar is that bit more physical, Szoboszlai is that bit more of the playmaker, but they're 2 dynamic, positive midfielders. And then we still have the defensive stability with having that solid base in the holding midfield role. Do you know what I mean? So rather than having a 10 per se, it could just be a case of being just more attacking-minded, positive midfielders. Because all our midfielders are quite are negative in their style of play.
Our mate said, what happens if nothing changes? And this is the problem. Like, you can't just grab, okay, let's just pluck a creativity player and pluck him in there and hope for the fucking best. Because, you know what? Scrap the whole fucking team. Keep Aubameyang. Keep Tierney. Keep Saliba, the young bloke who I have never fucking seen, but I have more faith in him than any other cunt. And the rest of them, fuck them off. Like,
can I be honest with you?
That's where we're at.
Can I be honest with you? If you look at it from a strategic management point of view, you have to also understand that, yes, you can say that who's going to say we're going to start playing this free-flowing football if we get a 10? It's not that necessarily. But can I be honest with you? It's not that, but you have to implement an element of risk to generate that reward. You're going to have to take risks, and sometimes a high-risk maneuver of signing, let's say, 2 more positive midfielders or a quality number 10, that, yes, it may not work, but you're never going to know if it doesn't work until you try it. And you have, with a risk, you have just as much of an element.
Wasn't Ceballos meant to be a creativity player when he came on loan?
He wasn't ever necessarily a number 10. He was another more positive midfielder, but then if you pair him with someone like Xhaka or El Neni, that kind of doesn't really have that freedom because our midfield structure has to be there to also maintain the defense. He doesn't, in my opinion, he's kept a bit on a leash in a way. But that's what I'm saying though. Is yes, I understand it's not guaranteed it's going to go well if we sign these players 100%. But that element of risk is crucial to generating success. And if you don't take risks, you're not going to get any success out of anything. And that's just
you're talking about risks off the pitch, and sort of you can't just keep throwing money at problems and hoping things change. Like we've spent money now. And the team's
I could look at internal cases. One option when Martinelli's fit would be moving Saka into a more of a number 10 role, hypothetically speaking.
But I mean,
even Smith Rowe playing well in a 10.
Yeah, but then that's not taking a risk. It's just using different players. But the other issue is
it doesn't have to be financial.
Yeah, but then your whole point was take a risk. Playing Saka central ain't a risk. He's done it.
It's not a financial risk, but it's still a risk if it works long term. If it works either long term or even short.
Yeah, but then what isn't a risk?
Of a youngster in a different position worked.
But what isn't a risk? If it's a risk, it won't work. Well, there's a risk when I start my car in the morning, it won't work. You can't say in that case everything's a risk. A corner's a risk, yes, because someone's just fractured their skull on one. Has it happened the other 10,000 times the corner's been taken? No, but you can't say everything's a risk because it might not work. Like I might stand up and my leg might not work. It's not a risk because I've stood up 10 million times in my life.
I think we need to.
I'm fucking confused. What are we going on about here?
100 million at Grealish. I'm saying we should throw 20, 25 at Szoboszlai, maybe 20, 30 with another more positive midfielder because Guendouzi.
But you can't just keep chucking money at problems. This summer it was just get him and we'll be fine. Last summer it was just get Pepe and it'll just be fine. Everyone just wants to chuck money. At some point, when's a coach going to be a coach?
No, but that's what I was going to ask, Tony.
It's not aimless.
When is he going to actually step up?
It's not aimlessly throwing money.
I didn't say it was aimless.
Players in that mold in your squad, Guendouzi and Ozil,
I didn't say it was aimless.
In theory, that sort of player.
Look, none of us know, right? And none of us are like in the know in the Arsenal fucking thing, knowing what's going on. I am more convinced though, however, I don't know how many of these signings were actually Arteta.
Not many. Probably none.
That's what I was getting at. I don't know if it's almost like it's Edu and I don't know. Surely the fuck they're talking.
I mean, it's now
right?
Edu and Arteta based on the new roles, but before he was promoted to being actually a manager, I would probably think, looking at the transfers, that Gabriel was probably a mixture of Arteta and Edu. I'd say that Willian was 100% Raul because he was the one trying to pull it with Kia. Edu already had a good relationship with him.
Gabriel would have been all Edu.
But also Arteta because he had a very, very good profile in European football. So that wouldn't.
I don't think that's anything to do with Arteta. But you want to link something good to him. If it'd have been shit, you'd have said it as Edu.
No, not at all. Not at all.
William.
I can't see any link to where I'm going. Yeah, that was Arteta.
I don't think
that's not a criticism of him at all.
And William would have been Edu as well.
Party would have been Edu within the first signing. That would have been Edu and Arteta when Arteta was already first team manager.
We've been looking at Party for over a year.
No, I know, but it still would have been sanctioned.
Of course, everything would have been sanctioned, but you can't just because you want to credit things to him. You can't. Oh yeah, Arteta signed Bergkamp. Arteta signed Bergkamp because he saw him play once. He liked him.
But it wasn't his job. It wasn't his job prior to becoming first team manager to identify talent. The job description was.
No, that's it. I'm not criticizing him, but you're trying to link everything that's good to him when it clearly had nothing to do with him, and everything bad away from him. I'm not. This isn't a criticism, a positive or a negative. I'm just saying, Party was fuck all to do with him, and I'd be very surprised if Gabriel was.
Okay, well, Charlie said, Tony, do you think Arteta goes out and scouts players? That's what the club employs scouts for.
Well, I mean, we don't employ scouts, which is pretty much part of the problem.
Didn't we sack them all?
We do actually. We have academy scouts,
sack them all.
And we do have
academy scouts. Yeah. So our 4 academy scouts that scout under 18s, they do that. Oh, of course. Look, a manager will be given a profile of a player that's heavily been scouted, or ask the analytics department now rather than the scouts department to watch them, and they'll watch them themselves. I'm not saying these guys are completely uninvolved. I'm not saying a bloke just turns up in training one day and Arteta goes, "Who are you?" and he goes, I've just been given the squad number 12. I'm Willian. I used to be at Chelsea. Like, of course they know about it. Like they don't just turn up. What you doing
I
there?
pictured Moneyball for a sec when that bloke turned up in the dressing room. Who the fuck are you?
Yeah, like of course they know what's going on, but it's not like a heavy part in the deal,
Tez,
and it
it's
would
not-
probably happen regardless.
Tez, it's
But-
not like when they appointed Ted Lasso and no one knew who the fuck he was.
Oh, that's a dumb show. That fuck me.
It's
I
a
watched
great
the
show.
whole. I watched season 1 and the cunt still lost. I'm like, fucking hell. The Ted Lasso ways to lose. Fuck Ted Lasso.
Tez, did you not realise that Goodison Park is actually Craven Cottage, and their stadium's Crystal Palace, but their first game they play Palace. At
Yeah,
home.
it's all a
just
fucking
nightmare.
mess. It's all a mess. Yeah, I did say that. Clutching at straws here, boys. That's what fucking old Jack Brewer says. Clutching at straws. Don't know what he's talking about. Oh, the scouts thing, and you boys.
The main point I actually wanted to get onto when I was talking, you bring up risk and risk averse, is we have the most risk averse manager in the world. He's got winger. He just wants wingers that keep the ball. It's like the direct opposite of the job description of a winger. Like, imagine getting an 18-year-old Cristiano Ronaldo and saying, "Cristiano, son, just knock it 3 yards to Gary Neville. He'll look after you." What? Like, Ferguson said, Ronaldo, do 87 step overs and you're going to lose it and you're going to be a prick sometimes. But we'll teach you where you should do 87 step overs and where sometimes you should give it to Gary Neville and where you should only do 4 step overs and where you should shoot. And then
Tony, that's the
Ronaldo
problem, man.
arguably became the best player ever.
Nope.
Arguably before anyone.
Nope. Yeah,
You've just made me think of what the problem probably is then.
Nah, I'm only fucking.
So,
with you.
if you watch some of these Barcelona documentaries and what they say about Pep when he was at Barca, is that he used to be very, very structured with his defensive midfield, but when they're in the final third, he basically gave the attackers complete freedom to do what they wanted. And I feel like with us right now, Arteta's not giving them that freedom. He's
They
keeping
have
them.
none.
They need to be still within that same structure for the defensive side because we're still not good enough defensively in terms of our quality. So we rely on defending as a unit. And maybe that's the problem. Maybe that's why we're looking at a right side.
Well,
So do you
it's a
think he's
huge problem.
managing every individual player, Jack? Is that what you're saying there?
Basically, not necessarily. So basically, because we don't
Basically,
have,
but not necessarily.
because we don't have like quality in defense, we have to. The reason we're still defending well is because we're defending as a unit. So we're relying on men back rather than individual defensive talent.
Yeah, but
So
what
we're
I think,
always-
what I
we're
think
basically- that's why we're
Tony's
all behind
saying.
the ball. So what I'm saying is what.
But it's not
Pep
even
is
that.
from a difference.
Yeah,
is
but
he
it's
gives
not
freedom
that
to the
at
front,
all.
to the front players to do whatever the fuck they like. So yes, you're structured, but when you're in that final third of the pitch, do what you like. But when we're getting
It's not the amount of bodies that are back, it's what they're doing. You get Pepe one-on-one with a fullback, and we're sitting here thinking, fucking hell, party time, go at him. And he turns and gives the ball 3 yards back to Bella, and you're like,
Yeah.
what are you doing?
I was going to say, and he does the same with Pepe. Like, the bloke's a fucking Ferrari who just wants to run, sidestep, do dribble overs, fucking cross. Go, let me go, he goes. But yet Arteta says, no, I only want to do 40 Ks. Like, that's the
Did you
one
see-
issue right there.
Did you see against Mold last week? He had, I think it's the start of the second half, he had a shot from like 35 yards, unbelievable, hit the bar, should have gone in, like really unlucky. The first thing Pepe turned to dunk because the camera zoomed in on him to be like, oh, what an effort, 35 yards, he's hit the bar. Apologise for not playing a fucking 2-yard ball. Like, at what point do you have your attacking players who have just hit an unbelievable shot from that distance say fucking sorry for not passing it? It's ridiculous.
It is.
Like-
It's fucking bullshit. I do remember that, actually, yeah. And this is half what... So I'm no fucking expert, as somebody said earlier. You know, we're not football fucking experts here. But you can look what's going on the TV. Like, we're not fucking dumb. And you can see what's happening. And you look at players like... what are you eating now? I mean, you can see players that they do something and it's almost like their head goes down immediately, you know, like, or a cross goes into Aubameyang and it may be a little bit, you know, out of reach. And instead of him doing the clap on the hands, thanks, mate, great cross, I almost got it, it's head down. And you watch the fucking body language. So this is where I'm coming back to the fucking manager. And
Tez,
I'm just... It's so negative. It's so negative,
Do you
man.
think maybe that's because we're then too zonal and not allowing any fluidity because of how zonal we are in our formation?
I don't think he's letting any creativity at all. He doesn't want no risks. He wants no risks football. He wants you to fucking just get the ball, pass and just get the ball, pass it to someone, pass it back. I don't care where you pass it to, as long as it's keeping possession. And that's basically what we're doing, is trying to keep possession, creating zero chances, doing fucking nothing and losing games. That's what I see. I'm no expert. I could be fucking totally wrong, but that's just the way what I see. I see no, and there's a lot of people talking of creativity, and we need creativity players. We kind of got them, but we're not letting them be creative. So you've got the Pepe on the wing, who, let's face it, he's either going to wow you, or you're going to go, oh fuck. But you know what? If he's hitting the crossbar from 35 yards out, I'm like, oh, fuck, how close was that? And then I'm happy with that. Move on, I'm happy with it. But when he goes, oh, just pass it back to fucking Granite, and then Granite passes the ball, it's boring. And it's boring football without results. I don't care if we're boring and winning, but we're boring without results. Anyway,
That's the point. When we were shit against West Ham, everyone said we were shit, but we got the 3 points. That's 6 from 6. We move. When you're shit without results, it's a problem.
It's a big problem.
Massively. Okay, I did ask for some questions. I forgot to put the questions up on Twitter. Totally forgot about it. So if you've got a question, jot it in the live thing. I'm just going through a couple.
And I just while you're saying this, at no point have I had a dig at scouts, and this guy who's obviously a scout and wants to let everyone know about it because he said it about 5 times. Who I know is Jack, mate. We know, we get it, we can read. But also, at no point did I have a dig at scouts. I said the clubs sacked their scouts, and Jack said they still have academy scouts, and I said great, they have scouts that do under 18s. When we was talking about whether Arteta identifies players. So I didn't have a dig at scouts. I know they work hard. They're essentially agents that don't earn any money, and I've worked as an agent. So let's not change the narrative to Tony hates scouts. Well, Tony hates Arsenal scouts. I just said, we have under 18 scouts who are doing a fantastic job. We have a fantastic academy. We are signing fantastic youngsters. But the question was, does Arteta go out with them? Do I believe Arteta went out and scouted Molar from whoever he came from, who looks good? No, I don't. So the answer to the question was, whoop-de-doo, we have under 18 scouts. But now tell us that you're a scout again, because everyone wants to know that about it's not FIFA, you fucking knobhead. Probably worked in football before this kid was born.
Guna Glasgow says, where are we on the ladder at the end of December? So we've got, I'll just go have a quick look at the game. So obviously Spurs. Oh, shut up, Jack. Fuck, mate. Fucking Jesus. Really?
Just randomly, Guna Glasgow, did they say ladder in Scotland? Because Tez is the only person, well, Australian's the only person I've ever heard say that.
Don't know. Where are we on the ladder at the
Well,
end
he's
of
typed it, but I
December?
don't know if it's because you say it or if that's what they say.
Yeah,
Or he
but
might not
read
even
it in
be Scottish.
I can picture a Scottish person saying that.
No, to be honest, it makes more sense than table, but I just don't know anyone that says it.
Yeah, I call it ladder, don't I? Do I? I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I call it ladder. Yeah. So anyway, back to, I was looking at matches. Tottenham, Burnley, Southampton, and Manchester City, Chelsea, Brighton.
Wait, Man City's in the Carabao though, isn't it?
Oh, sorry.
Probably
Yeah,
happened
Man
twice.
City's Carabao. Yeah, yep. So, okay, where do we think, boys? Tottenham. For me,
You
it's
can
a
never
loss.
call it. It's a derby. Like, look, the way I look at it is that the form goes out the window. The team that's in the worst form normally in the first derby comes up on top. Like, look, the way I kind of look, I if you look on form, we're going to lose the game 6-0, and I hate to say that when we're playing Spurs. But if you see how lippy Spurs fans are getting, and you know how the derbies normally go, that would also suggest we're going to somehow beat them 2-1. Although I don't see that happening, it's just how it seems to be every year. Whichever fans are lippiest is the team that is the fan base that gets more pissed off. Like overconfidence in the derbies goes to shit. It happens every single year. It's like whenever they read out a stat on the TV that a team hasn't won here in so long, it always goes the other way.
There is look, again, as Jack said, on form and everything else, the Tottenham win is the result you'd have to pick. But there is an argument to say it's the best game for us. I mean, it's a derby. Half of us among the players don't really look up for it. If they're not up for it in a derby, then forget it. I actually wish there was more fans there, to be honest, because it helps in terms of getting up for it and the good old English passion, which is nonsense.
I kind of feel like our players are going to get really, really fucking heavily abused because they're going to be close to the pitch. They're going to hear every fucking word they say.
Are you boys heading to that game, are you?
No, there's no wish.
No.
But not only that, I think stylistically it's not a terrible time. I mean, again, it's not a good game, and we don't expect to win it. But they've been playing in the break, and we're not going to attack. So then they're going to either have to settle for a boring 0-0 at home against a team that are 14th, which isn't going to go down well, or they're going to have to come out and play. And that, for me, we should go back to a back five. I would play Ainsley and tell him to just follow Son everywhere like he's his fucking shadow.
I don't think that's the problem, though, to an extent. I think Kane's the link because Spurs,
I think Son is for sure.
No, they've got more. They've got more than one good player. I didn't say Mark Son and then leave. Like, am I allowed to finish an answer?
Yeah, sorry, but just hear me out because I wanted to explain what I meant first.
Well, if I would have, I might have said, "Oh yeah, now put 3 men round Kane." But okay, go on, Kane. You finish my answer for me.
Sorry, Spurs didn't rely on the other team playing a high line. We play a really deep line.
Let him finish.
The only way that I see Spurs scoring is from a header, in my opinion. I think if they're going to score twice, I think it'll be from a corner or from a set piece. How
many Tottenham games have you watched this season?
Honestly, I watch most football, so probably most games, especially now that all the games are at staggered timing.
Okay.
I'd say probably maybe miss 1 or 2, but that's the same as all of the top 6.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think they're going to smash us. I think it'll be 3-0 all over. Sorry,
as I said, I expect them to win, but I think it's possibly the best game we could have coming up. To be honest, as in when I look at the fixtures, you might go. But apart from would you rather have Tottenham away or Fulham at home? Obviously, Fulham at home, but the thing is with a Tottenham away, if you get the result, it kickstarts something as well. Whereas a Fulham at home, if you do win it, it becomes you should have done anyway. So I think as I said, look, if you had a gunsman and said who's going to win, I would say Tottenham, which is horrible. But I think there's a lot
one
of
or
things.
two ways on it, though, Tony. Because I think if you get one or two ways. What I meant is I'm trying to go back a little bit to the question on where do we ladder at the end of December. And where I say 1 or 2 ways, I'm thinking if we get smashed 4-0, morals are down going into Burnley.
I don't see how they can get. To be honest, they shouldn't be able to get any lower, really. Because we've not just been losing, we've been piss poor. And even the point we got against Leeds was not a great draw. It's not as if we played fantastic. We played off the park essentially. But yeah, look, as I said, it could easily be a 3-4-0. And I don't think any of us would come on here next week and go, "What a shock! I didn't see that happening." But I wouldn't be surprised if we park the bus. Can I finish a fucking answer?
Sorry.
Jesus Christ!
I lose my train of
thought. You're losing yours. I haven't finished the question yet. I wouldn't be surprised if we shit out the win with making them play a way they don't want to, and just being ratting them about and being up for it. And I hate these are all things I hate in football. Whenever everyone says, "Oh, passion will do it," I go nuts. I hate it. But I think it's probably the only thing I can see doing us any favours.
Before Jack goes on, so I'm just going to go through it and go. I want to finish this as well. So yeah, Burnley, Southampton. Look, a lot depends on Obviously, Tottenham game for me is the very big important one. He could either type of set a sailing onto a smooth ship. Burnley, Southampton for me is a bit of a tough game because I watched them on the weekend a couple of times, and I've watched them, and I'm like, shit, they were fucking surprised me. Everton form for me has been up and down. They started the season off very, very well, and then now they've type of plateaued. Like, it's not.
They've turned
that,
back into Everton.
Well, it's not that form that they started with. Something's changed there. So yeah, I'm not saying it's an easy game.
Do you remember when we done that? Do you remember when we done that show?
He's out injured, isn't he?
No, well, that. But do you remember when we done that show about 3 weeks in? And I said they're playing James wide, so he doesn't have any responsibility, but they'll get caught out defensively. Then they got caught out defensively a couple of times, and now they don't know what to do with him because. Do you know what I mean? As a 10, the problem with a 10 is you're someone's focus. Whereas he was drifting all over the place, but it was cost. And then, to be fair to them, Coleman being out as well, so they've got no right back, and they were playing a guy on the wing who refuses to defend, and they were just getting hammered down that side. I remember, I think I said it, and then they conceded 3 minutes into the Merseyside derby that exact way. And then since then they've tried to move James central, and it's not blaming him. But well, now they're trying to play a back five, and the other day they played a Iwobi left wing back and
right wing back.
Tom Davis right wing back. No, and
Iwobi was definitely right because that's what his FIFA card his inform was. It was definitely right.
How much? Look, considering I gamble for a living, how much do you want to bet that Iwobi started left wing back?
I'll bet a tenner on it right now.
Cool, send me a tenner.
I'll prove to you
Tom Davis played right wing back. Iwobi played left. Then Fabian Delph came on for Tom Davis. Delph went left wing back. Iwobi went right, and then he went off for Bernard.
Yeah, exactly. I said Iwobi played right back.
Yeah, but listen to what he said. Start. He said start.
I'll buy you a drink on Thursday then.
Tony did say start. he didn't say shift.
He did play right wing back, and his best parts of the game.
Yeah, but he got shifted there, Jack. He got shifted when.
Jack, you're so keen to jump in. You're not actually listening to what anyone's saying. So I said they're struggling because they played Tom Davis right wing back and Iwobi left wing back. No, they didn't. They played him right wing back. No, they never. He changed there. He did play there against Fulham, but that's not what I said. So yeah, now they're changing shape to try and accommodate James, but they're playing like Tom Davis isn't a wing back. Iwobi isn't a wing back. They've got 3 centre backs. They don't really want to play Godfrey right back, so they've gone to 3 at the back. I think they're kind of in a bit of an identity crisis at the minute, but they've got some good players. I mean, if Richarlison, Calvert-Lewin, and James all turn up at the same time, Alan's very good. He was their best player the other day against Leeds. Like, if they all turn up, they can still beat you despite being a bit unsure of what they're doing. But they are. You don't go into the game and thinking, shit, like, we can't win today.
Yeah, no, and that's what I mean. So Everton are one of them ones that, we can, like, and this is where I'm getting at. Like, I can't, I'm probably dribbling on a little bit with this answer, but we keep stopping, but that's all right. So, yeah, okay, Everton. So there, I remember that now with Rodriguez. He was going to be their big key there, and you did say that with the defence. Arsenal, Chelsea, come the end of December. Look, I'm not even going to look too much down that barrel.
It depends a lot.
In answer, yeah. Look, in answer, look, I'm not even going to go to that point, Jack, because like I'm looking more of Burnley, Southampton, Everton. I then stop, reassess, continue where I'm at, and I'm trying to go on old mate's question: is where do I think we will be at the end of December? I'll be the honest answer is I don't fucking know. But if we can put together a couple of wins, I'd like to think we're off 14th. We're moving. I'd like to be up at the ladder more than where the fuck we are now. That's
Tez,
all.
Can I
quickly.
Just to add to that, and I'm not trying to sound like an over-optimist because I'm not saying I see this happening at all. But if you look at, and this is what I've been trying to say for a few weeks, and Addy's always tried to shut me down about it, but I can say it now because he's not on the podcast because he's enjoying his birthday. Is that we're not far off where we want to be in terms of the point distance. Like, we're very, very, very lucky that we're 7-8 points off top and about 5 or so points off top 4 still. In theory, if we went on a run of a couple of wins, we could find ourselves looking like we're pushing for top 4 again in terms of our demographic in the table compared to rivals and the points and the points tally we need to chase. Because the fact is that yes, we may be 14th, but we're really not far off the point tally we want to be, despite the fact it's that bad. I mean, yeah, right now we're 8 points off Spurs, who are top of the league, and we are 5 points off top 4, which is Leicester on 18, and we're on 13. Especially at the moment, especially the fact we're coming up to Christmas. In theory, this is what I was trying to say before, and I apologise for interrupting. If we were to beat Spurs and start a run, we could find ourselves in the top 4 very easily in a couple of weeks, based on how the fixtures congest. And that, especially with teams dropping points because of Christmas as well, and so many factors. And I understand this is all in hindsight. I understand it's a crystal ball point. But if we do take this what is essentially probably the biggest get out of jail free card we're going to have all season, which is if we were to go to Spurs and somehow win, and that starts something, there's no reason why we can't quite easily comfortably get top 4, even challenge for a title. I'm not saying we're good enough, but I'm saying the points tally states that, if you know what I mean. Teams are dropping points left, right, and centre, and we need to start capitalising it rather than.
Look, it's not a runaway table, Jack. Basically, yeah. Look, and what you're getting at is Tottenham and Liverpool sit top of the table on 21, and the bottom of the table. Well, Sheffield. Let's not look at Sheffield. Let's go down to Brighton, who are on 10.
Did you guys?
What I'm getting at is it's not a runaway. It's not a runaway table like it was before. But before we move on quickly, I want to respond to what you just said, because that is a lot of shit there. I understand you need a crystal ball to fucking work that shit out. My biggest worry, though, Jack, and my biggest problem is, and look, yeah, can I reply to that?
Yeah, I was waiting for you. That wasn't me making a noise.
Yeah,
I think Tony unmuted and then muted himself.
What my problem is I look at teams like Manchester United who were down with us 2 weeks ago. I have seen an improvement in Manchester United. I have seen an improvement in Leeds United. I have seen an improvement in Aston Villa. I've seen an improvement in just about everybody except Arsenal. Crystal Palace, I think I watched them last on the week, and I'm sorry, I can't remember, but I think they were an improvement. I'm just trying to remember now. But yeah, you know what I mean? Like, I'm just not, for me, with Arsenal, I'm not seeing an improvement. And that's my biggest worry.
No, for sure. And that's why I'm saying that's why the derby is, in theory, the biggest get out of jail free card. But if you look at United, to be fair to them, they're 9th on 16 points, but they've got a game in hand. If they win that game in hand, they go 3rd. Because they're a game behind everyone ahead of them.
But, yeah. But, I just see them. They're improving, mate. They're just all up. They're improving little bit and little bit. That's what I'm getting at. Where Arsenal are, we're not. We're still stuck in this. I don't know of what you want to call it. Of where the fuck are we?
We're in a rut for sure. But like at the same time, if you look at our bad run of games of our losses, you can isolate out Liverpool and City because you do tend to expect those sorts of results. So if you think about it, we are at the bottom of that worst spell now because of the 3 consecutive home games we've lost, or whatever the stat is. We're now at that low point, which means we can't get any lower, which means we can only really go up in terms of like from how we're playing right now. And that's what I'm saying. And this is what I've been saying for weeks now. A good manager to me shows how they fix it in a hard time, and we've just got to. You can't just expect something to change in a week. And I'd like to think that on Sunday we're seeing, yes, we may not win the game, but I'd at least like to see us fight till the end or be in with a chance of it at the very minimum. I want to see something that will at least God forbid we lose to Spurs. I want to at least see a performance that then encourages the team on to then start to get a run of form moving on from that, because they'll be more pissed off the fact that maybe they didn't take all 3 points when we should have done, hypothetically speaking, or we scraped a last minute draw and that gave us that momentum kick. There's a lot of factors that don't necessarily mean us winning that we could take from Spurs and boost our season. But the thing is we, rather than dwelling on the shit now, we really do need to start looking at and evaluating. As a club, Arteta needs to work on ways to start raking up a points tally, because as I said, we are lucky that no one's that far ahead of us, and if we start form a bit similar to United last season, we can still end up having a very good season where these 4 games look like an isolated incident, which isn't comparable to the rest of the campaign. And look, we're only early on in, and yes, it's shit now, but the question is that let's see on Sunday, which is the players' best chance to prove us all what it is. And also, I think fans coming back will also give a boost to the fans because it will at least remind them of the accountability they have to fans, even though it's only a small number of 2,000.
Okay, let me get through. Mute your fucking mic for a second.
I got
fuck
everything I
off.
wanted to say off my chest.
Go and have a piss or something. Okay, I've got to go through a few of these comments because I see them coming up. Charlie, you've pissed him right off, Tony. This cunt's he's filthy at you because he says you couldn't tie my shoelaces, mate.
Come to the game with Jack and keep the same energy, please. Thank you.
He also says Jack Brewer, agree 100%. The team he inherited couldn't succeed under two other very inexperienced winning managers, so no wonder a new one can't do much more. With him, says Charlie, Guna Glasgow, in response, we call it ladder rugby fan here. Rugby fan. No, got nothing. Rugby. Rugby. Oh, that's rugby union. Is it rugby union?
Up there, yeah, it'll be union.
Yeah, okay. Rowan says, Tez, this is now called the Jack and Talk. Guna Glasgow says Jack and Talk. And your mate Charlie's back for another fucking bit. So, Tony, you get the Arsenal job tomorrow. What do you do? I'd like to hear the bright ideas. Regards, the knobhead.
I'd be about 100 grand a week richer, so I'd probably fill the bath with £50 notes and be very fucking comfortable.
Sorry. How would it be comfortable bath with £50 notes? Would you just get bare paper cards?
No.
Jack Brewer says, do you guys think maybe we're just a top 10 team now and the players aren't good enough? This team, bar William Gabriel, is the same. Obvious party is injured.
Sorry, Jack. Gabriel's quite a significant improvement on what we've had prior. Like, you can't just say it's the same team, bar Willian and Gabriel, and obviously Partey. To be fair, Gabriel's been fucking quality. He's been a great signing.
Yeah, but why isn't this Saliba in? Like, come on, like, you're taking the piss now.
I think Arteta said like he needed his adaptation time away. And to be fair to Saliba, we forced him into an operation. He was out for like 2
well, not buying all that shit, Jack.
Corona.
Not buying it, mate. I'm not buying it. If I'm a little bloke sitting in France and some massive club just bought me, left me back in France on loan for a season that says, yeah, they want me to get a bit more experience, happy day. Well, let me fucking finish, cunt. Happy days. Yeah, that cunt isn't mate, okay? That's me calling you a cunt now.
we went through that last week with the different meanings.
You know, he's sitting in France. He's been there on fucking loan. I'll come all the way over to London. I'm here, happy days. Hey, going Ozil, we're having a party, mate, because we're not fucking doing fuck all. Why aren't we playing him? Shut out. That's why. Shut out by an inexperienced manager.
One thing that was strange about it, and funnily enough, so last season at Watford away, funnily enough, I was there with Charlie, and we were about 4 or 5 rows behind us was actually Saliba, and showing the fact that he gave a shit to even come to the games and sit with the fans and everything. I'm surprised that he hasn't been integrated and has shown that more, because he seemed very much that he wanted to be part of the club, and I would really like to know what the actual issue is behind the scenes and if it's what we're being told or if it's something different, because at the end of the day he's a top quality centre-back, and that doesn't go, and especially when you're a young age and when you're a young player, not playing for so long can be detrimental to your career, and it's worrying for sure, because I mean, look, he was streets ahead of Fofana, and Fofana's tearing up shit at Leicester.
Well, this is the thing, and we'll get the bloke coming in the fucking game. We got some old cunt running around with a fucking bandage on his head.
How funny, though.
Come on.
Right? How funny was how well the blood coming through Luiz's bandage, like, perfected the meme about that away kit.
Yeah, I've seen that. But, you know, Tony, I'm going to go to you quickly because I'm going to wrap this shit up in a minute because we're going from an hour and 10. But, like, what is your thoughts on Saliba, mate? Because, like, here's a bloke who can't get a start, and I'm just thinking of a couple of positives very quickly, okay? People or Arsenal fans were saying, yeah, he mum passed away, give him a break. We've given him that room, I think. We've given him that space. he's sitting in London. He's coming to the game, so he's obviously happy to come and watch. We have no crowds at the stadium, so my thoughts would be, hey, bring him in now. Why there's no fucking crowds to go boo when he fucks up, a young kid. For me, I just see positive after positive. I don't see no negative there on why we're not letting him go, letting him start.
The club fucked up, and they've basically admitted it. I mean, not having him in Europa League squad was criminal, and again, Arteta essentially said that himself. It doesn't make sense because he's playing in Resi games and under 23s, and there's no Resis anymore. He's playing in under 23s, and yes, the quality is different in the Premier League, and there is probably 2 times or 3 times more journalists there. But as you said, with no fans at the moment, playing under 23s and playing, Jack, tell your mate to come. Honestly, tell him to bring this energy. I would love him to.
He's only bantering you. It's quite
no, it's not. Honestly, is he coming Thursday?
No, he's not.
No, that's fine. Interesting. With at the moment with no fans, as you said, the number of people in the ground is a journalist, and I think there's 200 at Premier League games, and I don't know how many under 23s, but not a significant amount. So
yeah,
it's like if he can play under 23s and he's as good as everyone wants us to believe, then I don't know. I don't really understand. And you look now, we've won the Europa League group. We've got sorry. Who have we got on Thursday?
Oh, bloody.
Tony, we're going to the game. It's Vienna.
Yeah, I know Dundalk's the last game. I'm just this competition.
I thought it was Dundalk, but
no, we got them away on the last game.
Can we go to Ireland?
No. Well, I say that no, but there was a guy that went to the Molde game, so fuck knows. But officially, no.
I actually dare someone to do what the guy did at the Molde game at Spurs this weekend.
What?
He basically, this guy at the Molde there was like however many fans they allow, and there was just one guy in full Arsenal clothing and a flag.
I don't know how he got the ticket.
Who the fuck did he get in? Don't know.
No, I don't know.
So
I mean, but
one bloke. Fuck.
Yeah, literally, he didn't get it from Arsenal. He obviously
put the
got
picture in the group chat.
Maybe he lived there and he got a ticket as. Like, you know what I mean? He might be a Molde fan that lives there, but he's Arsenal's his Premier League team or something. But however he got the ticket, I don't know. But it was on guys. So officially you can't, but I'd imagine that there's a load of Dundalk fans that probably support Arsenal anyway. So there'll be some pictures of people in Arsenal shirts, but we can't go. But yeah, I mean, we've got them 2 games that are essentially dead rubbers. Well, they are dead rubbers. They're behind closed doors. And he could have played every other game in the Europa League if we're honest. So not registering him is
stupid.
It's chaos. And as I said, if they were keeping him completely away from football, then you go, okay, whatever the issue is, whether it's mentally because of his parents or he's homesick, whatever it is, you could say okay. But as I said, at the moment, there's really not that much difference between under 23s and first team football, apart from the quality. But that's the thing we're led to believe isn't in question. We're told the quality is there. It's just A, B, C, D is the problem. So then,
are you boys worried? Are you worried? Yeah, I'll mute you, Jack. Can't. Are you boys worried? And Tony, we're talking celebrity, obviously, very quickly. We have an American owner who doesn't come near the club. His young bloke, Josh, pops up every now and then, I think. We've got Arteta as now I suppose the boss, taken over Wenger. We've got Edu there. So I'm thinking to myself, Edu and Arteta are pretty much running the place. Are you worried that they are both inexperienced there and running a fucking massive football club? Like, I know other people are behind the scenes running shit, but I mean, like, the stuff that we see, like, you know, beforehand we had Raul and different blokes with different jobs. And now it almost seems like, and back to, obviously, we talked about scouts earlier. I think a lot of the scouts got the punt as well. You know, like this, it's just, I don't know. It's almost like it's cutting costs in a sneaky way.
Yeah, look, it's a weird one because I don't know if we're so attached to Arsenal, and obviously Arsenal's such a big club that everything gets reported. But I don't know who does these jobs at other clubs apart from Man United, because they're a big club and it's reported that. So, like, is it a role that requires a shit ton of experience? I don't know. I'm not saying it is or isn't. Obviously, the manager we know about. Sorry, I'm talking about upstairs. But
Yep.
who is? I think Chelsea's is Maria, and her second name begins with G. But like most clubs, you couldn't name the person who does that role. And
Yeah,
is it?
we've got the
because it's-
marketing bloke who does all the sponsorships and stuff, but that's his financial.
Yeah, no, I'm
control,
talking about.
right?
I'm talking about Edu's role.
Edu's role and Arteta's role.
Well, you'd
It
know
just seems
Woodward.
like the football club is.
Yeah,
all
that's what I
around
said.
that.
I know Man United, and I know Maria is it Gurur is Chelsea's. Levy isn't, but people think he is. And
Yeah, but he's
that's-
got experience, Tony. Like the experience.
No,
that
but no,
bloke
no. This
has.
is what I'm saying. I don't know. As I said, we can name 3, so we're looking
Yeah.
at 3 of 20. I don't know that role if it is a role that, because look, let's face it, we had Raul, who had been at Barcelona and was seen as the most experienced man in the world, and he didn't do a brilliant job. Like when he left, no one was crying about it, and people were moaning about him before that. So it's a weird one, because
strange.
do you just get good and bad people? I imagine, and again, I don't know. I'd imagine you just get good and bad people that are good at the job, people that are bad at the job. I don't think it's about experience. And the thing is with Edu, he's done it in Brazil, and okay, it's a hell of a lot different, but it's not like they just employed him from school.
Yeah, no, I get that. But yeah, I just maybe both of them being ex-players as well. It's.
But it's another thing. Everyone wanted the Arsenal, bring in the Arsenal DNA, and I know what's going to come next. What's going to come next is when they don't do as well as everyone wants. It'll be, oh yeah, but they're not proper Arsenal DNA. They're not
Wenger's
Bergkamp, Vieira, Adams. That's 100% going to come next. Oh, it was a midfielder that come at the end of his career and was only ever at Everton, and a midfielder who was a second string. Like Edu was a good player, but he was never a starting player week in, week out. So next is going to be, no, we don't want Arsenal DNA. We want proper Arsenal DNA. Like, it's just...
Yeah, I know. I just... you know what, though? Like... well, I haven't got an accountant like Schwinn, but, like, we all have an accountant, or not a personal accountant, Schwinn. But, you know, we take our books to do for somebody to audit, or we do something. You know, like, I like that bloke that's gone through university and who actually is a bit smart when it comes to numbers. And when I was in business, you know, I took it to a bloke who's a bit smart. You know, he's got the fucking university degree behind him. And that's when I look at Arsenal, I think, I get you as ex-players. I understand you probably know football better than anyone else. I totally get all of that. But, like, it just, I don't know, it always just leaves it eerie thought.
Just to do a Jack and not let you finish your answer. The problem everyone has at Man United is, Woodward knows nothing about football. Get Cantona in, or someone that has a... Yeah. So I think there has to be a balance. And we don't know about Edu's sort of business credentials, and Vinay his credentials are as long as your arm. Like, and his education is fantastic. So there is a middle ground to be found. Between the two of them, have they found it? Who knows? Hopefully, is all, from our seats. All we can say is we fucking hope so. But I don't think you can say, I want. You've been watching too much Moneyball, because you just want the guy who the accountant in there.
The smart count.
At United, the problem at United is that's basically exactly what. And even Gazidis, to an extent, I know he was at Portsmouth before us, but he was seen as a business head, and the issue was, this bald guy knows nothing about football. And then you go the other way, and it's this guy, this Brazilian guy, he knows nothing about business, and it's for fuck's sake, you're not going to get an ex-professional footballer who's won the Premier League, who's also got a degree in accounting and a master's in finance. Like, it's just most of them are.
It's a shame though. It's a shame though, because if Sonelli would have left a year later, I would have completed my degree in football business and law.
I think that would have made a great deal of difference to the application process, to be fair.
Couple of quick questions before we wrap up.
Maybe the master I want to do next year might help it a bit more.
I'm just looking. Gurner Jack says, when you lads think we will see Gabby back, yes, this is Jack. No one will mute me.
It's a bit shit. I commented that about 10 minutes ago. It would have been a lot funnier in the context.
Hey, is that you fuckwit?
Yeah, no, that was me when you tried to mute me. It came a bit late to make a joke.
Oh, fuck me, Dave.
He also tweeted
it. Wow. I can't. I'm out. I'm done. Glasgow Gooner is a reject. Glasgow Gooner, he's fucking, yeah. Oh, yeah, because he says reject every week, doesn't he? MW, fucking hell, mate.
Can we touch on Thursday if we have a bit of time?
No, I haven't got time. MWA Gunner, Edu probably got us Gabriel and definitely got Martinelli. Oh, the Charlie's back again. Building a new identity and transition into success takes time in any business sector. Patience is the key. This type of process, Liverpool, Wolves, Tottenham, a perfect example. But Tony should know that. I just added that again.
Peter Lee's taught him well.
Yeah, look, all good comments. And at the end of the day, this is next. I think the next month we'll really see how we are, and I'm gonna try and be positive because I don't want to get on here and be, reacting after every game. But at the end of the day, boys, it is what it is, mate. Like we're not winning. It's sad. Mate, I fucking copped it this week. Like dead set, I copped it up the arse for Arsenal, and then Roma got absolutely fucking smashed by Napoli, and I'm like, well, fuck these football teams.
Napoli shit.
Fuck
that was written in the stars, though. You can't play them the day or the weekend after Maradona dies and expect the result. Like,
we were. Yeah, I was just about to say that. I heard a couple of Roma podcasts that I listened to, and they were absolutely hammering us. And I thought exactly what you just said, Tony. I thought, like, yeah, fuck me, Maradona just passed. They were up for any game.
Yeah, I know they only played Cardiff, but playing Leicester after the chairman died was always going to be a Leicester win. There's certain things in life that they just push you that extra step, and I know it sounds stupid saying refuse to lose because it's not just your decision, but sometimes there's just that attitude where you're not going to lose that day, and it's not something you can decide to do. I think that was the worst possible fixture for Roma. Not that I watched it. But.
Well, it was actually. I watched it after the Arsenal game, but yeah, it's quite sad now. I've got to watch football twice to remember what the fuck happened. It takes up a lot of time. Okay, boys, that's us. What do you want to do, Jack? Quickly on Thursday, do you want to talk about you're going to the game and we're going to win?
No, not actually about the game, because I mean, if we don't win that, I'll be fucking pissed off. But it's going to be nice to be back in the Emirates after 9 months, and I'd like to. I presume Tony agrees with that. I mean, look, the form aside, it's going to be nice, although it's only a 2,000 person allowance. It's going to be nice to see the Hallow Turf and watch the boys in person again after a long time off.
I just want to also mention, I spoke about it very quickly in our WhatsApp chat this morning, is Real Madrid. They're a fucking real worry because they could drop into Europa League, and I think there goes our chances. Not that saying that we're going to win it or anything, but like we got to play better football. But fuck me, I don't want to be coming up against them.
It's I think they'll fuck the competition off, or unless, to be honest, I wouldn't be surprised if Sudan's not got a job at the end of the group stage. But everyone's going on as if they're out. I looked at the table, and basically, if they win next week, they're going through. Pretty much.
Yeah, but I think Inter won this morning too.
Yeah, so. Inter won, but Inter did win.
I didn't check the table after that because I jumped on here, but I don't know what the table is now. But I thought if Inter win this morning, it's going to make it pretty tough.
It's tight, but I think if they win, they go through. But I'm not 100%. Okay. But the thing is, if Zidane's still the manager, he'll fuck it off. They'll have no interest. The fans won't give a fuck. Like no one at the club. They don't even know. They don't know what a Thursday is, to be honest. And then, And then the biggest danger of Real Madrid is if Zidane does go, if they don't get through the groups, and the new manager's like, yeah, we don't know what this competition is, but I've got to win something.
Yeah.
And that makes it a little bit difficult. But to be honest, the way we're playing at the moment, and look, it's great because there is a gap until February. Basically, I mean, I know we've got 2 more games, but Europa League's done with us till February. And
Yeah.
you never know. Look, I don't even like talking 2 games ahead, as I've said on here before, because everything can change. But so looking ahead at February, you just hope that we're looking something like a football team then.
Yeah, that's right. Let's hope. Okay, we'll be back next week. MAA Gunner, yeah, Inter are 4, Madrid are on 3. Okay, there's only a game left. So, yeah, I wonder who's Inter play. I'm going to have a good look at this anyway. Okay, boys.
They've got each other.
Oh, they do too.
That's what I was saying. It's in their hands.
You're right.
If they win, they're through.
Yeah, I think.
Unless
right,
I'm not sure if the other two. I'm not sure if the other two can like fix a draw. If them 2 go through, I'm not 100% on that. But I know Madrid can finish above Inter by beating them.
Yeah. Okay. No, that will be interesting. I'll tell you what, though, even Inter, they're a fucking, that's a worrying group.
Well, for me, they're a bigger danger because they will try and win the competition.
They will try and win it, yeah. Because I was just about to say, like, that group, I think it's Group B or something, but that group, you would have expected them 2 teams to go through.
Yeah, 100%.
I can't remember who else was in it now.
Mönchengladbach and Shakhtar.
Shakhtar, yeah.
Was that 3-3 in the end?
I'm not sure, mate. I think it was 3 against. No, Inter won it 2. Inter won their game this morning.
Last I saw, Inter were 3-1 up, and there weren't too long to go. But I didn't look after that.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, we might have to do something like that on Patreon shit. Bit of Europa League chat and stuff like that. That'd be good. Talk about something else than Arsenal for a change. Okay, boys. Thank you.
Cheers.
Cheers, Teds.
Good night, and thank you everybody for downloading. Thank you for listening. I dare say Darren, Liam, and Max. I was thinking, I forgot that cunt's name. And Max, he'll be
last
on.
Week you forgot Liam's name. Now you're forgetting Max's name. Sort yourself out.
Mate, the boys, they'll be all on Thursday night, Friday morning Australian time. Probably about 7:30. Probably just after the game, actually. So
you might want to check that, because if Darren's going, I don't know if he got a ticket.
Oh, he might then, too.
Yeah, he won't be recording.
Won't
I don't know.
Recording.
Yeah.
No, I'll double check that. Yeah. Hey, good night and goodbye. See you later.